Yeah, so I've made a lot of videos about Ben Shapiro's audience like going against him because every now and then he'll say something that they hate. And recently, for a lot of them, it was Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, a couple others. They're all in it for Matt, they're all in it for Matt Walsh running for president. They're all in it for Ron DeSantis running for president, right? It's pretty clear they never like Donald Trump. They think Ron DeSantis can, get it all done, everything like that. Um, and I think Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, who are buddies, but Candace Owens, I think she either works on Daily Wire or she's a contractor. I'm not really sure if she's like full time there because she does loads of other stuff. Um, she's obviously recently gone against him, but what I've always said is that so many of these people that Ben Shapiro employs absolutely like do not like Jews. Matt Walsh, chief among them, like literally this guy's whole history is all about like conspiracy theories that center around Jews, and you're telling me he actually likes them because he supports Israel. And someone actually said Candace Owens is actually confused right now with how people are even calling her an anti-Semite because she supports Israel. Because that's what people like Ben Shapiro have convinced so many on the right. That's all you have to do. Support Israel and you're good. And actually, the real anti-Semites are the left who are against Israel, despite the fact the left fight against fascism, the left fight against anti-Semitism, the left are always sticking up for marginalised groups. Ben Shapiro, and like many people, Netanyahu as well, they are happy to ally with actual anti-Semites and fascists if it helps further the cause of Israel. And now you're seeing this come back to bite him because this isn't just the Candace Owens drama. Like, look at all the people piling in here. So Candace Owens, like, I don't know why she wrote this. Can anyone provide context in the chat maybe? Like, I don't know what this spawned from. So she writes, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are which they are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Christ is king." So the Candace Owens has been speaking out against Israel, right? And that's the only context I can think of for this. And Ben Shapiro made a comment about how her stuff is unacceptable because she was talking about how Israel have been killing children, which they have, mostly children. And Ben Shapiro was very mad about that one of his employees would say that. Now, Candace Owens is a Christian. She's also besties with Kanye as well. Apparently, wasn't it doesn't her husband run Parler, and she tried to make Kanye buy it. And obviously there she's quoting the Bible. And obviously, if you know anything about anti-Semitism, like some of the biggest perpetrators and actual anti-Semites are Christians. So she writes that. And then Ben Shapiro replies, he says, "Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit." So this is like, I know this seems like just like some Twitter beef, but for the main thing about conservatives, especially people working in conservative media, is their unity. And they always back each other eventually. And that's the thing about conservatives generally. I guess the ideology is usually just money, really. So you can put your actual personal dislike aside and do stuff like this. Like, even remember when they were having this massive fallout of Stephen Crowder, the only person who was actually attacking him properly was Candace Owens. All these other people were being very vague about it because they know a lot of people who like Stephen Crowder watch all of their shows as well. Like, people who watch conservative media tend to watch a lot of conservative media, even though it's pretty clear that, for example, Stephen Crowder is like an absolutely massive anti-Semite who probably personally hates Ben Shapiro. So if we go a bit further, I think she replied to him. Yeah, okay. So this is so funny. But look at the replies here. Actually, let's see if there's any good replies here first, because I didn't actually look at this one. So Cernovich, again, another fucking dude who hates Jews. "Must be too expensive to fire her, would require paying out all or some of the contract. Anyway, chill out, man. You've been wrong about most everything, from Trump in 2016 to COVID, to the Middle Eastern wars you supported. If anyone needs to pray for humility, it's you." Lauren Chen saying, again, the fascists are coming home to roost. All of these people are like the actual proper fascists in the conservative movement. I mean, most of them are, but the main thing that differentiates like Ben Shapiro and people who support Israel is, I guess, generally they aren't anti-Semites in many ways. And then you get people like this who actually are. Candace has been perfectly respectful, consistent in her commentary over the past few weeks. She's been anti-war and America first. She even had someone from the other side on the issue on her show for a civil conversation. And she certainly hasn't launched any ad homs against people who disagree with her. Yet you've now attacked her publicly multiple times. Just seems very personal and out of left field. I do love how they're still trying to be like quite polite about all of this, even though they're all coming after Ben Shapiro. You've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now, and we have all had to sit back and allow it and have tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. But you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into it. I will not tolerate it. So, again, if you follow these personalities, you know there's never drama like this. And it is like so funny to like let them fight. I'm enjoying it. I like this. I like conservatives turning on each other. But I think it also shows a fundamental split with conservatives because, you know, Ben Shapiro goes along with them and they're saying, no money for Ukraine, no funding for Ukraine, right? And they all love it. So America first, no funding for Ukraine. But then it turns around to Israel. Ben Shapiro's like, nah, billions and billions of funding for Israel. And then some of them, I guess you could say, are principled. What they actually are like America first, like don't spend money propping up foreign powers. But then obviously a lot of it also is, oh, the Jews run America, Israel runs America, therefore do not keep funding Israeli wars. And everything America does in the Middle East is actually controlled by Israel. They believe this, right? So it's two things. It's like, well, it can be both. It can be like they don't want to give money abroad, and they're also anti-Semites. And that's the thing as well to remember. When I say anti-Semites, you could be like, oh, Kavernacle, they're not actually anti-Semites, they just don't like Israel. But the thing is, the only reason these guys don't like Israel is because it's Jewish. Like, they don't not like Israel because what it's doing to the Palestinians. Even Candace Owens, right? I don't think she gives a shit what Israel are doing right now. Most of these people would love Israel if it was white Christian. The only problem they have with Israel is that Israel is Jewish. And like I said, that is their problem because do you think these people hate Muslims being killed? Muslim civilians? The only thing they hate about it is they feel like they're wasting money on foreign American wars because the Jews want them to do it. That's literally it. So the cat turd weighing in, never could stand Ben. Glad you're finally catching up. It's time to check Ben Shapiro, and I think we can all agree on this. Candace, you are bigger and better without the Daily Wire. Thank you for posting scripture. So obviously you get like a lot of Christians coming out to support her as well. Just, you know, the mask coming off. So yeah, as you can see, a bit of a conservative civil war brewing. And then she actually went on Tucker Carlson's show. Don't know if this is a coincidence or planned.
And it looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity.
Oh, so this is basically that clip of Ben Shapiro saying a load of shit about her to like some crowd of people.
Everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree or I don't think she's correct or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. We were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of ours.
And I talk about it on my show openly, and I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But I would, as I said, hope that it would remain respectful,
Yeah.
and that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak,
I think
in a
that I
private setting.
think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss? Does he?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He
Yes.
is not making the day decisions of the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear, because people are like, how could you possibly save Daily Wire after this? I have a very good relationship with the co-CEOs of the Daily Wire. Especially right now, the acting CEO is Caleb Robinson. He's a wonderful person. He's worked very hard to be where he's at. We have a lot in common that we connect on. And so people don't get to see that, which is unfortunate. Ben lives in Florida. He's not a part of the day-to-day movement of the Daily Wire. The rest of the hosts have their shows situated in Nashville. So we see each other every day. We talk. There's great camaraderie. And there's actually more agreement. There's actually a lot of people that are, as I describe myself, just pro-America first. And I think I've been that way consistently throughout my political career. Whether people agree with it or not in different moments is up for debate. But I don't want that video to become a reflection of how the Daily Wire works and the Daily Wire operates, because I have had a very good experience with the CEOs, and love Michael Knowles, love Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan. We all get along really great.
The thing is, like, she's playing all nice, but like, she's throwing shade at him all the time, like saying all this stuff like he's not there, I'm there with all the other hosts, and also plays into my view that the other hosts are also fucking anti-Semites as well. And they don't like Ben Shapiro personally. I've been saying this for ages. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles have literally praised like fascist dictators. Like Michael Knowles has been praising like Mussolini and Franco, right? What I meant to believe that you are not racist against Jewish people if you're fucking praising Mussolini. Definitely are. So Solovich saying about Ben Shapiro underneath. He's become indistinguishable from a far left wing politics woke psycho. He's working the soft cancel culture angle now. I didn't fire Candace, she's quit, but he should look up what a constructive termination is. I mean, these guys love workers' rights all of a sudden. But yeah, basically what you're seeing with this, and I've been noticing it for a while, America First is two things: fundamentally anti-Semitic, but also against basically giving money away to foreign countries like Ukraine. So if you get Ben Shapiro, who's seen as like a neocon, on some issues as well, saying you should support Israel and everyone who doesn't should be censored, then of course you get this backlash from these racist conservatives, and also reflects something that's happening in the UK right now. So the old leader of the BNP, which is a fascist party in Britain, which had like one seat when I was younger, he is against Israel because he hates Jewish people, where Tommy Robinson is pro-Israel, despite being the former head of the English Defence League and still being a fascist, right? And because why he likes Israel is because they brutalize Muslims. Same with Douglas Murray. I think it's Nick Griffins, I don't remember his name. Why he doesn't like Israel is because it's Jewish. And that's pretty much the fundamental distinction between America First and Western chauvinist fascists at this point. Because Western chauvinist fascists love Israel because they see it as part of the West, part of the white West, and they're fighting barbaric Muslims or whatever, right? Where proper white supremacists who exist in the Western chauvinist movement, they're just like, no, we still don't like Jews. So anything we think is helping Jewish people, like supporting Israel, for example, then we're not going to do it. And you see this with like Jackson Hinkle as well. Obviously, this absolutely, I'd call him, I mean, I don't know ideologically what he believes in, because he went from being like some Bernie Sanders supporter to pro-Russian fascist. But at the same time, he's grifting massively off his Palestine stuff, despite previously saying good things about Netanyahu, and obviously supporting Putin, and loads of Putin-aligned oligarchs like Roman Abramovich, they support Israel as well. Lots of Russians support Israel. So Hinkle, like, positioning himself this way is just to, build on this momentum from these people who don't like Israel for one reason. They don't mind it's an apartheid state. They don't mind the killing. They don't mind it brutalizes Arabs and Muslims and stuff. They just, like this part of it. And what's interesting, actually, I think, for people like Ben Shapiro, well, two things, is he's allowed this to flourish. Ben Shapiro has created one of the biggest conservative media platforms, and it's just absolutely filled with anti-Semites. Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, all these people are anti-Semitic, while labelling people like me anti-Semitic because I'm against the state of Israel, even though I've dedicated so much of my content to fighting against anti-Semitism, which I believe outlets like the Daily Wire push every single day. They think I'm an anti-Semite because I do not support apartheid done by a majority Jewish country. That's the interesting part, that he thinks this won't come back to bite him. And he should have known when he started supporting Trump and allowing all these people to have his platform, they would eventually turn on him as well. And the thing is, he probably realizes he's playing a dangerous game supporting DeSantis, because when DeSantis loses, if Donald Trump loses the election, who do you think they're going to blame? They're not going to blame, like, as much liberals. They'll blame people like Ben Shapiro. Be like, you undermined Donald Trump. The reason he lost is because you supported DeSantis against him, and you helped all these attacks against him throughout the primary, and that's why he lost. So again, dangerous game for this guy to be playing, because most of his colleagues and audience are anti-Semites. And I know people can't understand this, but yes, most Western anti-Semites actually support Israel. And it's only this more fringe America First faction who are more, I guess, fanatical in that anti-Semitism, in that they're not just pushing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories like you saw Candace doing there with Tucker Carlson. They actually just personally dislike Jewish people as well. Therefore, they're never going to support like a country like Israel. And yeah, like, you know, people might say, oh, you need all the people you can get in pushing back against Israel. But at the same time, like, these people fundamentally, the people on screen, do not care like about what Israel's doing. Like, what unites all three of these people, Cernovich, Ben Shapiro, and Candace Owens, is Palestinian suffering is not their concern. They don't care about Palestinians either. What they care about is what they feel like is Jews, you know, influencing American foreign policy and controlling it to create forever wars where white Americans will go and die in the Middle East or some shit like that, right? That's basically it. So yeah, that's, you know, the Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro drama.